If you would like more videos like this, consider joining my online library. It's only $15.99 per month, and you can cancel at any time. Here you'll get weekly uploads of new videos around pain management yoga, restorative yoga, Ashtanga yoga, chakra yoga, all sorts. So head to www.yogatraveleronline/membership to join. Welcome. Today we're going to focus on our feet and specifically plantar fasciitis relief. Really working on our ankles and our calves to find relief through the feet. Whether or not you suffer from plantar fasciitis, this is going to feel great to just wake up our base, wake up our root. I've got some props with me today, a chair for balance, a yoga pillow and a strap, and a block. If you have these things, grab them. If not, it's fine. I will show you how to use them if you do. So let's stand with our feet hip width distance apart and lift your toes up and then try to set them down one at a time if you can so that they all have their own space on the mat. And they might feel like they're spread a little bit wider, almost like fingers. And then we can shift a little bit through our feet, kind of swaying back and forth, swaying forward and back, feeling that the engagement of the feet, but also, do you notice how the ankles start to wake up a little bit? There's some awareness in those tendons and everything in there. And you might feel the arch of the feet. People who have plantar fasciitis sometimes have not a very large arch. It's more of a fallen arch. But let's see if we can feel that lift and that space. Now just close your eyes and roll your shoulders back. So there's some open sensation through our chest and our throat. And again, just maybe wiggle the toes a little bit on your mat. Feel the big toe, the little toe, and the heel, all those pressure points. And then notice that energy right at the base of the foot and in the ankle, which then travels up into the calf muscle. These will be our primary focuses today. Bottoms of the feet, ankles, and the calf muscles. So here we should feel very rooted, very grounded, set into the floor, into our space. And we connect the breath with the movement. So open your eyes so you don't get dizzy, and just reach your arms up overhead and feel that lifting through the body, but also rooting down into the floor. Exhale, release your hands just down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower it down. Good, now I'm going to turn my body to the side so you can see. Let's take a vinyasa together. Inhale, lift up. We're still rooted into the floor, still anchored. Exhale, fold forward. In this first forward bend, notice what it shifts. Do you feel stretching in the hamstrings? Some of us might feel it in the calves. If we shift our weight forward, we can feel our toes engage and still that pressure on our heels. Take your hands to your shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring your hands down to the floor and step back to a plank. Here is a great position for our toes. See how they're pressing into the floor and there's that arch already. You can drop to your knees if you want. Take a chaturanga. Inhale, try to roll through your feet into upward facing dog. So the tops of the feet are on the floor. And then exhale, roll through the feet again. I like to lift onto my toes. That's not possible for everybody, I know. And then flip them so that the heels point toward the ground. Nice. Now let's just move our feet. We're going to move kind of fast. Pedaling, pedaling. Each time maybe the heel touches the floor. It might not, and it's okay if it doesn't. Something called bone structure might get in the way. But just pedal. Good. Now hold still and try to release the heels downward. Again, they may not touch the floor. Don't get so uptight about that. Just feel that stretch through the back of the ankles. Now let's walk up to our hands. Exhale, fold down into our legs. Reverse swan dive. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, arms by our sides, samasthiti. Good. Let's try it again. We'll change that little pedal for a moment, but let's lift up. Inhale. Exhale, fold down, being focused on the rootedness, groundedness into our feet. Inhale, look up halfway, lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to your plank, drop to your knees. If you need that extra support for your back, chaturanga. Inhale, try to slide on the top of the feet. Unhook those toes. Stretch out through the shins and the top of the feet. And exhale, roll back through your toes as long as you can until you have to flip them and draw those heels to the floor. Good. Now with more intention, let's bend our right knee and press that left heel down to the ground. It may not touch, but it might. And you should feel a powerful stretch through the calf and through the ankle. A little bit in those right toes too. Nice. Now switch sides. Press the right heel toward the ground. Bend the left knee. Stretch out those left toes and feel that length through the back of the leg on the left side. Good. Now press both heels down. Again, they don't have to touch, but they might. Sometimes we surprise ourselves. Let's bend our knees and walk, step, or hop toward our hands. Now I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm doing. Let's move toward malasana. Let's talk about this pose. Some of us might need to place a block underneath our hips that we can sit upon. As you can see, I turn my toes out a little bit, well, quite a bit, because of my bone structure and just the way my hips are. You may be doing the same, and my feet are wider than my hips, and that allows me to open through my hips. Some of these are just my own body restraints. So whether or not you use the block is not a problem. What we're trying to focus on here is a fairly intense stretch through our ankles. If you can get the heels to the ground, you can feel it. The one last thing, not everyone can get the heels to the ground. Don't be so focused on that. Again, use your block, or you can wedge a blanket underneath your heels to help you with that. That's something that you might try. Or you just don't go quite as far. Maybe you're more like this. And you can still feel the stretch in the ankles, and you'll also feel the stretch in your hips if you lift up a little bit. It's going to be almost a little more intense. Judge yourself, listen to your breath. Don't be so uptight about when it might feel different. So we're just trying to get a little circulation in those ankles and in the feet. Let's take one more breath right here. I've talked about it a lot. Inhale, exhale, fold forward, and let's straighten out our legs. So bring them parallel. And if you've got a block, you can bring it in front to hold onto it if you need to. This just feels nice to lengthen the back of the legs now. Uttanasana, forward bend, lengthening out after being folded. Good. Now walk your feet toward each other a little bit closer. They may not touch. Just find something that feels like it's starting to tug a little bit on the outer calf. Do you feel a difference from that hip width distance to a little bit closer? Find that engagement there in that outer calf. And let's bend our knees and lift up to chair pose, Utkatasana. I'll turn to my side so you can see. Here again, we're building up strength in our ankles and in those outer calves there, and that bend through the back of the legs. Plus, you're going to feel your quadriceps too, so that's a little bit of fun. Now let's test ourselves in our balance just a bit. Bring your hands behind and lift up onto your toes as much as you can, and then lower it back down and reach those arms up. Inhale here, let's do it again. Exhale, leaning forward just a little bit, rolling onto those toes. Bit of a balance. Exhale, lower it down. One more time. Lift up and release. Good, nice job. Now find relief again by folding down once more into that Uttanasana. Very good. Stretching it out. Now our legs are a little bit closer together, so it might feel different on the calves. It might feel different on those hamstrings. Good. Roll up through our spine. And pull those shoulders back. Take your hands behind you, clasp together. This isn't for the feet, but we're just going to stretch out our shoulders for a moment because it feels good. Not to ignore completely our upper body. Inhale and exhale, release. Nice job. We're standing again. Let's grab that block. You might have it close by. Just put it on the floor. I'll show you on my profile. And take a foot, it doesn't matter which one, we're going to do both sides. Put your heel on the ground right by your block and then press those toes into the block. Take a little micro bend in your knee so that you can feel all of this engagement right here through the Achilles tendon. Plus, if it's a cushy block, if it's a softer block, you might feel a little bit of arch engagement underneath. If you have a really hard bamboo block, this may not feel very great, and you can ditch it and just bend on your own. So do your best, decide what you want to do. My block tip for today is a cushy block. Usually I use a more stiff block, but for these purposes and sinking my toes into it, I'm using this sinkier block. Whatever we can do. Good. All right, release. Let's do the other side. The other heel near the block. Arch your foot, toes on the block, then bend the knee as much as you can to mostly feel this Achilles tendon here, plus that inner arch area of your foot as we squeeze those toes down into it. Good. Good, a little bit of tiny tendon work here, but makes a big difference the way our feet feel. Very nice. Good. Okay, let's set the block off to the side for a moment and grab the chair or whatever it is that you decided you wanted to balance with. I'm going to keep my chair this way, the seat of the chair facing me, but you can also turn it so that the top of the chair faces you. I just know what my flexibility is. We're going to start first by bringing the right foot forward and the left heel pressing to the floor. So this is like warrior one, Virabhadrasana A. That heel presses down. We can reach our arms up and see if we can lift onto those back toes. Now at this point, if the balance becomes challenging, that's where you might grab your chair. So it might look something like this, where you're up on that toe, you're feeling the stretch in the ankle, but also the strength building in the ankle, and you're holding on for a little bit of balance. Everybody's different. You may or may not need that chair. Take one more breath right here. And then release the hands down to the chair, or you can come to your leg. Drop the heel and press. So here I'm pressing into my chair and my heel is completely flat. So I'm feeling that big ankle stretch. If you don't have something to hold on to, grab your knee. If you can place your hands on a wall, that works too. Hands on the wall works just fine. But either way, that focus is that back of the leg and that calf stretch. Nice job. Take one more breath right here. Inhale. Exhale. And straighten out the right leg and walk your hands either down that chair, as I'm showing, or down your leg. Now, this is not as much for that back leg. This is now more for the hamstring on the left side. You're right, I didn't say we'd do hamstrings today, but how can we avoid it? We need to stretch so many parts of our body, and while we're here, we'll just do it, make it work. Good. Take one more breath. You might be here, or even hands on the ground if you're that bendy. Inhale. Exhale. Nice job. Bend your right knee to release it. As you come back up, let's just simply step together and switch sides. So now we've got our left foot forward and our right heel back. Find your balance first in that warrior one, both heels on the ground. Then reach the arms up to the sky. Then see if you can lift up onto that back toe. Feel the stretching through the foot, through the balls of the foot and the arch of the foot and the engagement in the ankle, building up strength here. If it's too hard to balance, grab that chair, put a hand on the knee, or even just drop your foot to the floor. Drop that heel back down. Let's just take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Now release the heel and lean forward into the chair, into a wall, into your leg, whatever. As long as you can feel that big, long length through that ankle and the calf on that right leg now. Good. Take one more breath there. Inhale. Exhale. Nicely done. Straighten out the left knee and fold deeper. So maybe you can deepen into the chair. Maybe your hands come down your leg. Maybe your hands can even reach the floor. The goal is to keep the knee straight so that you can feel this stretch all the way down through the glute into that hamstring on the left side there. Nice work. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Nice job. Bend your left knee to lift up and step your feet together. Very good. If you've got a chair, you can set it off to the side, off of your space there. And we'll take a vinyasa, bring us down onto the floor. We'll keep stretching our feet as we've been doing. So let's lift up. Inhale, reach. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, look up halfway, lift. Exhale, hands down, step back to your plank. Chaturanga, you can drop to your knees, always an option. Inhale, roll through those feet as best as you can, tops of the feet on the floor. And exhale, roll through the feet again, and maybe release those heels downward. Do your feet feel different than they did when we first started? Do you feel like you have more mobility through the ankles? That would be great. Good. Now let's lower down onto our knees, and we're going to keep our toes tucked and sit back. I got to adjust a little bit. Sit back onto our heels. Ooh, I'm cramping up in my right foot. Let me rub it for just a moment. This could be pretty intense by this point. It is called fire toes by many people, and we're going to feel it in those toes and in that arch of the foot. And hopefully you're not cramping for whatever reason. I am for just a moment. So let's breathe. Keep breathing and feel that stretch. If it's too much body weight, bring your hands forward. Take a little pressure off. It's just our own body weight pushing into our legs. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Nice. Now let's all come out of it. Untuck those toes, put them down, and just tap them. Whew, that was fun. That arch, those toes, they got a really nice stretch there. Let's do a little cat and cow while we're here. Drop your belly down, shoulders roll back. Inhale, send the gaze up. Exhale, round through the spine, tuck and lift. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. One more time. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Come back to neutral and let's sit back now on our feet. So you can see the tops of my feet are now flat on the floor. And if this is difficult for your knees or it's really intense on your feet, grab that block again, lift it and place it underneath your hips. You can take the block as high as you need to go and it'll take a little bit of pressure off. If you're really tight, we're just gonna feel it. We're stretching out our shins and the tops of the feet at this point. Now, for some of us, this is fairly easy. Say you're down and it feels pretty easy. You're welcome to walk your hands back behind and that will make it a little more intense. So find your way. Maybe you're using a block, maybe you're not, and your hands are back behind you. In all cases, we're stretching out the tops of the feet, the shins. We might add a little quadricep in there if you're reaching behind. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Nice job. Lift up and let's come around to sit. We made it all the way to the floor. If you have a bolster, you could sit on it at this point. I'm going to demonstrate sitting on it. If you don't have a bolster, any kind of blanket or pillow would work, or you can just sit flat on the floor and that's fine. But let's just sit here and we'll just point the toes and then flex the toes. Point them and flex them. So we can feel this mobility in our ankles and our calves, and we should be pretty warm already because of all the good work that we've been doing. Good. And then roll them. The ankles are a joint like anything else and they want to move. Good. Let's roll the other direction. I can feel my heels on the ground on the mat. My heels are rough today. Good. Good. Now hold them still. Let's grab our strap. This will be a little bit easier if you have been able to elevate yourself. It's still possible if you're not, so don't get too uptight about that. We're going to put the strap around the ball of our foot. So sometimes when we use a strap, we might put it more down on the arch. Try to put it nice and high along the ball of the foot and the toes. And then give a little tug on that strap and see if you can lift your heels off the floor. They might not lift off the floor, but they might. This will give us a nice stretch in the ankles and the calves and across the bottom of your foot. The flexed foot position is the restorative position for plantar fasciitis. The pointed toe position is a little bit harder, but we are going to balance with both. So here we are feeling that flex and the heels are lifted off the floor. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale, release it down. Just drop your strap. We're going to use it, but now point your toes. So it's like our toes are going to touch the floor. And we're just going to rub the top of our legs here, our shins and the top of the foot. Just get as far down as you can. You may not be able to reach the top of the foot. That's okay. Just imagine the toes reaching toward the floor to give us that balance. From doing so much calf work, now we can stretch out the shin, the top of the foot. Good. Very nice. Good. Take your feet back to that flexed position and put your strap again around the ball of the foot. So a little higher than maybe you would normally do. But this time our heels are going to stay on the ground. Do not lift the heels off the ground. Keep your knees nice and straight. Inhale, exhale, fold forward. A little bit of Paschimottanasana. Give our hamstrings one more little tug. Might feel this in the back. You might feel this in your glutes and your low back. Some of us might feel this in our calves if we're just really tight there. And that's okay. Good. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Lift up. Very nice. Set your strap off to the side. Let's bend our knees toward a butterfly. So we've got our feet exposed here and open. And we're, elevated on this bolster. So now we're just going to rub them. Rub those feet. Rub the arches of your feet. Rub through each toe, right in between each toe. You can stay on the bottom of your foot, or you can start to move toward the ankle even, and the base of the calf. Whatever feels good. I like to rub the top of my feet. I really like to just rub them all. Everything. Feels good to get that pressure release through our feet. Our feet work hard. We might be on them all day if we have a standing kind of job. We walk around and we don't always give the love to our feet that they deserve, that they need and require. So today's the day for some love. Good. Good. Now, reach down. This is our last stretch. Reach down for your right foot, and you're going to take your left hand and put one finger between each toe. It's hard to get them in there, especially in that pinky toe. Good. And then once you do, just kind of lift it and roll it around. Yeah, it's ankle, it's toes, it's ball of the foot. It's stretching out the spaces between the toes, getting it all that blood flow into our foot. And when we release our hand, it's going to tingle. You ready? Let's pop it out. Ooh, it feels so tingly and refreshed. Other side, left foot, right hand. Squeeze all those fingers in there. Good. And I like to put the heel of my hand right against the ball of my foot and just roll it. Roll it around. Feel that stretching out, the releasing of tension. Here it's still winter where I live, so I'm wearing socks and boots, and my toes get squished. And so I got to give them some life every once in a while. Rejuvenate them. Good. Good. All right, let them go. Feel that tingle. Nicely done. Let's just set our feet down. Hopefully they feel renewed and refreshed. We'll take a final closing breath together to wrap ourselves up in unity. Bring your arms by your sides. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Feeling grounded, renewed, and refreshed. Press your palms together. Bring them to heart center. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, for rejuvenating our feet and hopefully easing some discomfort. I welcome you to join me again, and thank you for your time. Namaste.